Mission and I won't stop. No destination, but it's worth a shot. You gotta let me go. You gotta let me go. You gotta let me go. Ready for a war, got my armor gear. Sharpen your sword, cause the time is near. Gotta do it big like Bon Iver. I'm a rock star on a chandelier. Off the walls, yeah, I'm about to go crazy. For the beast, anybody that can tame me.
Okay, so it's been about a week or so since I last tried the Sleek foundation because I just kind of jumped ahead and I was actually trying out 2 other foundations at the time. But now that I'm done with those, I'm back for the Sleek again. And that is the Life Proof Foundation, medium to full coverage, sweat proof and oil free. I was using the LP21. I've already did my toner and grapeseed oil. I'm gonna use my Ulta Matte Prime. And I'm not going to work today, so I'm not going to conceal like I normally would. Or maybe I should just to keep things consistent. Yeah, I'll go ahead and conceal. I will use AOA Wonder Cover in the shade Cocoa. As you can see now, the concealer completely covers up that spot. This one, still a little obvious, but I'm not sure if it's because it's deeper, like in color, or deeper in like groove. So what I'll do for that is my Maybelline Master Camo in the shade Red. A little bit right there. And since there's a little bit less left on here, I'm just wiping that on other dark spots. Let's do that. Okay, and even though it's Sunday, I am kind of in a hurry. I made commitments to go places today, and I need to be there in like 45 minutes, and that does not account for driving time, so I gotta rush. I'm gonna set with my RCMA No Color Powder. So we've got the Sleek Life Proof Foundation in the shade LP21. Should be enough for my whole face. Going quite smoothly. I think I'm going to try it with a sponge tomorrow. Who knows? Got it in my eyebrows. And I think this color's okay. Not sure if I should go lighter or darker. I do have a dark one, so I can try that, though, but I don't know if I should go lighter, if it's not darker, or if it's just too warm. My coverage didn't seem to stick on my spot there. So I'm concealing over that again. And on here again. And based on my concealer compared to the foundation, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but yeah, I think the foundation is a little too warm. And by warm, I mean like orangey or warm red, like, you know, closer to the yellow side than the blue side. I don't think it's too warm, but just a little. Okay, and I got some new concealers. I'm gonna try one of those out. Ulta used to have their darkest was dark cool for their concealers, but now are deep cool. Now we have dark cool and dark neutral. And then I also picked up their new Youthful Glow concealer in the shade dark cool. But I thought I had the dark neutral. I was gonna use that to highlight, but I don't. But I also got these e.l.f. concealers. Got the 16-hour camo in Rich Cocoa and Rich Ebony. Trying Rich Cocoa. So I think this one would be my highlight shade. Can't see. Yeah, I think that'll work. And the other one is just a concealer shade. And I guess I'll try that tomorrow if this behaves well enough. It smells a little bit like nail polish. The thing is, I'd rather have it smell like nail polish than smell like fake flowers, because for some reason that'll give me a headache, but the nail polishy smell won't. Just thought I'd point that out though. Anybody was wondering, I think it smells like nail polish. Blend it out. That is a little more subtle than I'd planned. That's fine. We'll set that with my Midnight Pretty Pink powder. Okay, well that's set in, I'm gonna use this Flower Beauty Blush Balm. Again, this is a shade Bitten. I wish it was a little bit more pigmented. I'm sure for people lighter than me, this would probably work just fine. Or people who aren't as fond of loud colors as I am. Like anybody wants something more subtle, this would be fine, but I'm kind of tacky. Use my Amuse eyeshadow primer in Clean the Slate. I don't know what I'm doing for my eyes yet though. Start off with Harvest Brown by Coastal Scents for my base. I'm gonna use Chocolate Berry in my crease. Not sure what else I want to do yet. Forgot this, one of my Shop Messe palettes broke when it dropped. I mean, it's cardboard and it was cheap, so I'm not really disappointed. I just need to remember to glue it back down. Go into Maroon Berry. A lot of fallout in that shade. I'm going to use Lucid, which is one of the AOA Studios colors. And then I'm going to use Worth, also by AOA Studios. Then I'm going to use Grapevine by Coastal Scents. Get that grapevine doing a little more than I wanted it to, but that's okay. And since grapevine commanded a little bit more attention than I would have preferred, I'm going to go into Chocolatier and tone that down. And now I brush off my fallout and pop a little bit of Zane and Neo. On my cheeks. Buff that out a bit. Then I'm going to go into Abby. Use this Clean Color Megawatts Liquid Eyeshadow in the shade Buzz. And of course I'm going to finish my face with my Ben Nye Nutmeg Powder. For eyeliner, I'm just going to use the Fabuliner from Jordana in Bold. Just throw on some lip primer. Now I'm going to line my lips with, I don't know what I grabbed. I think this is Blackberry. This is by NYX. Now I'll set my face and my lip liner with my RC Minnow Color Powder. Throw on some mascara. This is by Marcel. It's Maximum Volume and Intense Curl. Ultimate Volume Nano. I don't know, I didn't buy it. One of my friends gave it to me. As usual, I let that sit for a while, and then I'm going to go back over that with my spoolie and tease my lashes back out. Now I'm going to use my Epic Lip Ink in the shade Charmer by NYX. I'm going to throw Emerald City by Ofra on top of it. If you're wondering about my odd color choices, basically I'm wearing burgundy-ish today and I'm trying to match my shirt, but I like wearing green, so I can't help myself. Rose water. And I'm going to highlight with Pearls by AOA Studios. And then for the bridge of my nose, I'm going to use this bronzer called Clay. And I need to set my face. Whoa. Well, that was the last of my Urban Decay. I mean, I have another one around here somewhere. I just don't know where it is. So that's what we got. I will check in later. The time is now 2:01, which I should not admit because I'll sleep at my friend's house at 2. But she knows me. This is me. Bye. So I totally did not check in. I did look at my face around, I think it was 10 hours, and everything looked good. I was gone for about 2 or 3 hours. When I came home, I took a nap, did a whole bunch of stuff, and then I slept for a long time, and I also did forget to wash off my makeup again. I don't recommend that, but I'm not gonna lie. And so my makeup was on for about 13 hours, maybe more, and it lasted pretty well. I mean, I got a little bit shiny right around here. I did have some fading there, but it's probably because I sleep with my glasses. And, let's see. Yeah, this side was totally fine. This side had a little bit less makeup on it. Like, it was still smooth and even, but you could see more of my skin through it. But that's the side I initially fell asleep on, I think it was. But since I actually have a real work day today, I'll be able to, you know, have more structure, you know, more times. I can't think of the words I need to say, but basically, things should work out better today for check-ins. I have used my toner, I've used my moisturizer. Today for primer, I'm going to use my Urban Decay Optical Illusion. And I've gotten these new concealers from Ulta. This used to be their darkest shade. This is Deep Cool, which I'll show you. I used to use this one to highlight. It's not originally what I bought it for, but super light. And now they came out with Dark Neutral in the same full coverage waterproof. And this one will probably still be a highlighty shade, I think, now that I have it home. So this one is Dark Neutral. Oh, that's a little bit better. And in the same full coverage waterproof, I have Dark Cool. Then I also picked up this Youthful Glow Concealer with hyaluronic acid and the shade Dark Cool from Ulta. This is a completely new line concealer, at least as far as I could tell, but they came out with the shades already. So this one's also called Dark Cool, but it's just a different formulation. So this one's not full coverage and waterproof. And it looks like I still don't really have a shade that I would necessarily use for concealing. I can use both the Deep Cool and the Dark Neutral for highlight. And those two, I just think they might be a little bit too deep for regular concealing. But I'm gonna give it a try. So I'm gonna use the Dark Cool Full Coverage Liquid Concealer. And that's the Dark Cool, not the Deep Cool. Deep Cool is one I usually use to highlight. Yeah, it looks a little deep. Put some Dark Neutral on it. That'll work. Okay, now let's conceal the rest of my spots. Look, I didn't get much coverage. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit longer before I blend it out. Just while I'm waiting for that, I'm gonna put on my eye primer. Use eyeshadow primer in the shade Clean Slate. While I'm waiting for my concealer to dry down a bit. Okay, made a little bit of mess with the eye primer, but whatever. Now we're gonna blend out the concealer. I still see that spot there. Whatever, I give up. Oh, and since I've got a sponge out anyway, I figure I will apply my foundation with a sponge today. Can't remember which sponge this is. I think this might be one of the ones I got from Beauty Bakery. They have really nice sponges. This feels like theirs kind of did. Okay, so now that is wet with my rose water. Patting out some of the excess. Okay, so this is the Life Proof in the shade LP21. That's how much I'm using today. Maybe too much. Got rose water all over my mirror. That looks pretty nice, except all my spots are showing through again. Oh, we got their Life Proof Concealer. This is the shade 10 Creamy Cocoa. It's a bit light. Yeah, it's a bit light. I didn't set my concealer before I put on my foundation. Maybe that's part of my deal. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a highlighting concealer because this is not just light, it's bright, it's yellowy. Well, since I got it out, I'll highlight with it. Okay, we're having an earthquake. That was a pretty decent earthquake. Actually heard it before it started. But I still gotta get ready for work. Okay, wow, this is actually super duper yellow. So I'm gonna put the Skin Jure Clean Color Skin Jure concealer on it to even out the color again. This is shade 2614. It doesn't have a name on the tube. It had a name when I bought it, but I don't remember what the name was. This one is actually really good color. It's just feels greasy. I guess the smoothness would be fine for highlighting anyway, just not for concealing my spots regularly. Set my highlight with my pretty pink powder from Ben Nye. Now let's do some eyeshadow. I'm just going to use Mauve by Coastal Scents to start. I'm going to go into Blackberry by Coastal Scents. Now I'm going to use this Amuse Liquid Luster eyeshadow in the shade Eros for my lid color. I'll let that sit for a moment, then I'll blend out the edges. I've got a similar color, but not. This is with the Morphe one and the shade Ignite. Okay. Use the Ben Nye Ebony powder? Ebony. I'm going to the Juvia's Place. I'll use Zane. I'll brush off my bake. Ben Nye Nutmeg powder. My eyeshadow is a mess. I don't have time to deal with the mess. I'm going to go and take Dark Golden Olive by Coastal Scents. Can't make it work, make it look like you did it on purpose, right? Right. Okay, so this is pretty much what we're going with. I'm running out of time, so I don't have time to deal with setting. Yeah, no, I have to do setting powder. Ugh. So I don't know how this makeup's going to hold up for a full work day. Okay, so we've got our RCMA no color powder. I'm going to let that sit while I put my socks on. My rose water. And I'll deal with setting spray. Oh, there's my cat. I'll deal with setting spray when I get to work. And some sort of lip gloss, but I've got to go. Bye. So we are at 14 and a half hours. I have a little bit of shine coming through, but it actually didn't start coming through till about 2 hours ago, maybe. And this is where we're at 14 and a half hours. Hopefully I don't have any eye buggies. I just took off my glasses so I can't see. I'm using my front-facing camera because I just don't feel like moving my makeup cart back over here. Well, my eyeshadow likes to come up when I do that, but this is what we've got for transfer. I mean, it mats back down pretty good. And other than the eyeshadow that just transferred onto my lower eye, I don't know, I think this color is pretty decent. And of course, it's for my glasses and my big fat head. And I'll be wearing this foundation for the rest of this week. Let's put my hair back under my band. I've been laying down. So I will probably not be recording, or maybe I will, but I may not share it unless, you know, something significantly good or significantly bad, you know, comes up that I feel the need to share. Little fibers on my face. But that's it. I think it held up pretty good. Now I'm going to remember to take off my makeup before I go to sleep. Have a good night.